Everybody take your hands like this. Then like this. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And gaze at the third eye. Close your eyes. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhale. Suspend the breath for a moment. Exhale. Voila. Come on your hands and knees. Let's start warming up. Let's get in our bodies. So like Charlotte will be demonstrating. And the first exercise, simple, cat-cow. Spread your fingers wide. And then start a nice, smooth, easy rhythm, inhaling as the head is coming up, and then exhaling as the head is coming down. Yeah, perfect. Close your eyes and just breathe through your nose. Keep going, and as you feel like, as you continue, it becomes less about really stretching and more about creating a nice rhythm for yourself that's helping to make your spine become nice and supple. That's one of the easiest, most accessible secrets of longevity. You keep the spine supple, keep the aging process kind of slowing down, because directly right with the cerebrospinal fluid, brain fluid, it's really like the battery fluid of your organism. You're keeping that healthy, not letting things get too stiff. And that really benefits, though, if you actually breathe. And if you put your emphasis in the exercise less on how the physical body is doing at this point, and more can you establish a nice breath rhythm for yourself. That's pretty good. Inhale up. And exhale down. Good. And then come sitting, and actually come with stretch your legs out wide like a V shape. Just opening up a little, warming up a little. Like Charlotte is doing there, best as we can. Feet are flexed, and we're right on our sit bones. Yeah, that's why sometimes use a cushion to bring the floor up to your sit bones. And your kind of real gauge of that is, can you sit without your heart collapsing? That's kind of the gauge of that. Can I sit without my chest collapsing? Because most of the time almost all the time in yoga practice, I want to keep the lifted heart, lifted chest. Inhale, center. Turn to either side, exhaling down. Then deep inhalation as you lift up. And then exhale down. Yeah, feet are flexed. Energy is in the toes, but the whole groin area is relaxed. And every inhalation, you fill the lungs. Yes. Inhale, center, then hinge down forward a little. You don't have to force yourself down, but go to where your body can go, and then make your breath really deep and long for a few moments while you close your eyes down and cause your mind to follow the current of the breath. It's the breath current that's the carrier of the chi, the prana. And so simply by bringing your mind's awareness to its movement, its activity, it starts to relax. And not only does it start to relax, it starts to center itself in the nervous system. Follow that breath current, but finish every exhalation. Push all the breath out, and then allow the inhalation to begin to come in. It's actually work to do active breathing in the early stages of a yoga practice. And we're in the first few minutes, so it takes extra effort right now. Soon enough, not much effort at all will be needed. But right now, try to give it something. Try to bring your mind to the breath current. And then just have the simple observation is, how much does my mind actually cooperate with my wishes? Not so much usually. And shake the legs out, relax, until then eventually it does. And that's the wonderful thing. Come standing. That's the wonderful thing about something like Kundalini Yoga, is that it's not, you don't have to negotiate with your mind. We're just going to work directly with the body and with the breath, because you first have what they call in India, first is you have 5 main sheaths that make up the human organism. And first is called Annamaya Kosha. Annamaya Kosha really means like the food sheath or your food body. That's like your physical, actual physical body. And then second becomes what's called Pranamaya Kosha, and that's your chi body. That's when you're going to the acupuncturist and they put the needles in. That's the part of ourselves that is getting adjusted. It's more subtle than the physical Anna food body. Then third, you have what's called Manomaya Kosha. That's the mind, and it's even more subtle than the prana, the thoughts, the feelings, emotions, and desires, and all the subconscious, etc., etc. So what's cool is the bridge between the physical body and the mind is the prana. So if you can get the prana to cooperate, both the mind starts to cooperate and then also the physical body starts to cooperate, and we feel good. Okay, so index finger to thumb, both hands. Your eyes are open in this exercise. You pick a single point in front of you somewhere, on the floor, on the wall, doesn't matter. And that's your point of focus. Every exercise, every kriya has some point of focus, some dristi, some gaze. So find your point. And what you're going to do is like a yogi's march. It's an inhale, lifting the knee up to hip level, and exhale down like Charlotte's doing. It's like a sniff in and a sniff out. Perfect. Every inhale, stretch open the armpits. And put kind of the key, the catalyst that makes the whole alchemy of Kundalini yoga work is really the breath initially. And if you put it in a nice rhythm, and you put your body and your breath together, then you put the mind onto the breath. Listen to the sound of it. Feel it. And dwell on the breath rhythm. Now you have mind, body, breath synchronized. Keep going. Almost, I know, it's never good when the teacher leaves during this exercise. Stretch up, inhale. Exhale. Yeah? Then what you'll do, arms out, legs out. Like that. And the fingers firm. Everybody in this room, you can just face this side, face like the bar side of the room. And then legs are strong, fingers are firm. Inhale, center. Then you exhale down like that, in that direction. And then you use your core strength to help you lift up on your inhalation. Don't mistake it for a stretch. This is developing core energy. This is developing navel energy. So every inhale, just like fill your lungs and breathe with great depth. And every inhale, as you come up, draw in your pelvic floor and draw in what is your navel point, your abdomen that is just underneath the belly button. Stay with it. Now a little bit deeper the breathing at this point. Inhale up. And exhale, relax. Shake your legs out. Have some water, please. Excellent. So what you're going to do is have your hands on your ankles or shins, and you want to sit right up tall. Because with a spinal flex, and this is true of like spinal extensions, whether you're trying like a cobra pose or that type of thing as well, you want to have a lifting of your heart. So in, like for instance, in a spinal flex, it's not forward and back as your primary movement. Because your spine is, the spine is of course curved. And so you sit, instead of thinking, let me sit with a straight spine, let me sit with a lifted heart. Easy. Shoulder blades release. Chin is slightly in, but it's not stiff. But in order for me to sit with heart lifted, shoulder blades released, then I had to be connected first. So if I don't have connection, that's why often you can sit, if you practice or you sit like this a lot, then you can sit easily with sit bones onto the earth. However, most of us want to use a cushion, or you fold up a little blanket, hands on your ankles or shins. Then the movement, it's soft and easy. It's like a sniff in through the nose as you lift, and it's a sniff out as you come back. So it's not just a forward and back, it's a lifting of your heart, like try it like that, soft and light. You're not going for maximum extension, you're softening up, like beautiful. Now stay with it. With the rhythm. Then it opens up. You just start soft. Now that breath is getting deeper. Channels are opening. Chi is moving. Close your eyes. Where the root of the nose meets the skull bone, there lies a gateway, neutralization point, shunya point. A little deeper the breathing, 30 seconds. Deeper the feel, with the breath, with the body. Third eye gaze. Yeah, there it comes. Keep going, hands on the knees. It's not about the flexibility, folks. It's about how well can you just kind of dwell in it and cause the mind to come into a synchronized rhythm with the body and the breath. The mind will respond, react, and go this way and that way. But you keep realizing that center place feels very good, and it's also it's where all the power lies and the magnetism lies. Inhale. Suspend the breath in. Lift up the pelvic floor, Mulaban, rectum, sex organ, navel, up and in. Soften the gaze, third eye space. And exhale. Hands to your shoulders. Like that. Like that. Chest lifted, remember? Shoulder blades release, sit bones connected. Then swing to your left as you inhale, swing to the right as you exhale. Yes. Keep going. Deeper the breathing. Center, inhale deep. Sex organ and navel, up and in. Soften the gaze. Skull bone. Exhale. Now try to bring your hands like so. And very easy and just kind of like soft. So inhaling up, exhale, release it. It's light, like that. Start light and soft. Squeeze the shoulders up. Exhale, release. Good, have a little water. Then this Gyan Mudra seal, wisdom seal, index finger to the thumb. And like this. In this case, you'll stick your tongue out a little, like a panting dog. It's an exhale and an inhale. That's it. And the heart is lifted. That gives your navel and your diaphragm room to operate. This panting breath stimulates the thymus gland and the immune intelligence. It also helps to lighten melancholy, heaviness, and depression tendencies. It doesn't have to be harsh or hard, it can be light. And as it opens, it gets deeper. breath going, but close the mouth, like through the nose. Make your exhalation and your inhalation equalized. And see if you can hit that rhythm. See if you can make your mind relaxed as you do so. Make your exhalation and inhalation equalized. Another minute or so. See if you can keep your body still. And close your eyes and blend into the rhythm. Suspend the breath in. Lift again up a little bit your pelvic floor and your navel. And see if you can let the mind relax as you do so. Now hold the space and hold the position, and through your nose exhale. Then inhale through your nose. Keep the breath in, yet relax your upper body, suspension. Lift the pelvic floor, rectum, sex organ, then navel up and in, and draw the gaze in the third eye space. And then exhale. And then take your arms up like this. Just shake them a little bit. And stay in your body. There'll be plenty of time to get spaced out. Let's pace ourselves and have a little more water. Tonight, the moon is in Scorpio, and the moon is at this moment. I know sometimes people will be taking these classes months, maybe years from now in the academy, but it doesn't matter, because that's what's nice about following some basics of astrology is it's just a simple way of just tuning into the rhythms of nature is really all it is. And after all, that is how we keep time. And the sun is how we keep annual time, and the moon is how we keep a monthly time. And so the moon, when it's in Scorpio, it gets agitated a little bit. And sometimes that expresses itself also in your outer environments. Because that's the interesting part about this, all of this stuff, even with astrology, is that there's this idea of what they call prarabdha karmas. Prarabdha karma means like all of the karmas that we have that are kind of like stockpiled up since, I just say, like time immemorial. And regardless if you like think about like past lives and things like that or not, psychologically it's still just functional. Because I know this, that most of my thoughts that I have every day, or it's shown that about 90% of what we think about each day is the same. Do you know that? About 90%. I can't verify for sure if that's true because I'm too busy thinking about the same thing over and over. Can you kill the heat, please? And But what we do know is that we are patterned. We operate on patterns. In other words, we operate on rhythms. And so what yoga is trying to do, and when we think yoga, often, of course, we're thinking about like exercise and stuff. But real yoga is actually mostly about transformation of the mind, transformation of mental tendencies, transformation of emotional tendencies, so that you can create a happy life. So and not just generally happy life, but we can even experience blissfulness, which we need. We all know that we need that. That's why we all like to get intoxicated so much. The fact that the bars will always be filled is showing that we do need blissfulness in a certain way. We need ways, in other words, to get elevated. We need ways to feel ecstatic. We need ways to feel excited. We need ways to feel inspired. And so, what we also need is vitality, and we need vitality that stands the test of time. So yoga practice, Dharma practice, does offer an excellent solution to that, because it does both of those things. It can actually get you quite intoxicated in some ways, but that's not really its goal. But it is helpful. It's helpful to get lifted. And it also is simultaneously helping to develop the inner vitality, which is what we also need. And we develop that vitality by, in some cases, subjecting our organism to stress. And that's because we are adaptogenic creatures by nature. And if we can expose ourselves to the right types of stress in the right doses, then it actually can cause the organism to respond in a healthy way to that. And that's like in martial arts practice or anything where you or any kind of training, if you want to even just get ripped or built, you're exposing your muscles to a certain level of stress at the right dose to where they'll get stronger and they'll grow. If you go too high of a dose, you rip the tissue. And now you can't even work out for some months until it heals. And so, but what we're doing in yoga practice is we're applying that stress at a more subtle level in a kriya or in a meditation. And because what we also want to do is encourage the prana to respond in a fashion that is going to kind of keep our mind in the direction of whatever, tuned into the direction of whatever our life is all about. That's our intuition, and we all have that. So it's, in other words, just staying, the vitality that helps us stay connected to who we actually are and what our unique life is all about. Astrological language gives you some ways to provide context for that. For instance, today, the moon is in Scorpio. The moon gets agitated in Scorpio because what the moon is our sense of our deepest needs. The moon represents our deepest needs. It's the mind, but it's the feeling mind. It's the subconscious mind. It only thrives when it feels safe. When it feels safe, then it will come out of its shell. And when the moon is in Scorpio, nothing is safe. In Scorpio is like upheaval, change, transformation. And so when someone is born with the moon while it's in Scorpio, and lots of people are, they call it debilitated moon in astrology, which sounds horrible, but it's not horrible at all. It means there'll be some challenges, of course, but we all have challenges. But what it will often do is, in the best case scenario, it'll cause that person, or at least in a creative context, it'll cause that person to actually have to find how to feel safe in other ways. And one of the best ways to do that, once again, scorpionic, is to go a mystical route. And the mystical route is that which it's less concerned with the surface reality. Scorpio likes to not be concerned with the surface reality. Scorpio wants to go deep and go under the surface. And the Scorpio moon knows already that you can't find safety in the material world. In the world of ups and downs and goods and bads and positive and negative. You cannot. And so that will send the person on a path to actually find the real safety. And the real safety is that it's something in between. And so the Scorpio moon, when the moon is in Scorpio, it's excellent for yoga practice. But it often is agitating otherwise in a lot of other aspects of life. Because that's why moon is exalted in Taurus, because Taurus is luxurious, and it's like Earth Mama, and it's springtime, and everything is already perfect. And so but the tendency of Taurus, complacency. The moon can be like complacent, hard to get them to do a yoga class type of thing. That, and stubborn a little bit. So it's neither it's good or bad, exalted, unexalted. It's more important to understand kind of the nature of things. And the planets give you a certain way of kind of investigating your own psychology and others' psychology. But starting with our own, because that's what's most important, that's the one we have to deal with most. We have to sometimes deal with others' psyche, especially if you live with them. But even when you go to bed, you still have to deal with your own. And when you wake up, and when we cross the gateway into the unknown at the end of our lives, it will also be our own psyche. And we have to go through that door alone. So now is a great time to pay attention to those types of things, because if you can, and in other words, make yourself blissful, which is what the moon is all about, bliss. On its subtle and most desirable expression, it's called, the moon's name is called Soma, which is a word for bliss. And so the moon, when it's disrupted and it's agitated, it can close down, it can become cold, it can become anxious, etc. But when it feels when it is given a context, or if it's given a feeling that then it feels comfortable expressing itself, and then you express it in the mystical fashion. Where that's why, like in that breathing, was concentration on rhythm feel, concentration on equalization of the exhalation and the inhalation is the basic idea, because there's two channels that spiral around the central channel and end at your two nostrils. Chandra, moon channel, starts at the base of the spine, spirals up, ends at the left nostril. Surya Nadi, sun channel, spirals, starts on the right side, spirals around, ends at the right nostril. And when you put your breath in a rhythm, what ends up happening, especially within the context of a kriya and within the context of your intent, and that's why it's helpful when you are beginning a practice, like tomorrow morning we're beginning that 11-day prosperity practice. If you have an intent that you put around it, and then you start to work with your life force in that fashion, and you not only do kind of, visualization, do a ritual, good, but then in addition to that, catalyze it, and catalyze it in your own body, and catalyze it in your own mind, and then do it with some degree of consistency for a period of time and see what happens. So it's like, because all of this really it rests on experience. We can talk about it, we can say, this is how it works, this is what it does. But unless one's experience can back it up, then it fades away. There's not enough motivation to continue to do it, because by nature it's difficult. As soon as you're asking a person to transform their mind, it's difficult. That's the difficult part of life. And yet it's also the part of life that if you embrace it and stick with it and be gentle but be consistent, then it makes a person happy and they start to get actually blissful. And bliss comes out of something that's in between the good and the bads, the ups and the downs. It's something that we can't, it's non-conceptual. That which doesn't depend on polarity, duality is by definition non-conceptual. Your mind can't really think about it. You try to put ideas and concepts, we can call it bliss. But even that, what is that? And that everybody will have a slightly different kind of sense or interpretation of what bliss is and what bliss might mean. And so therefore I need to experience something for myself. And in the simple practice is this evening is to bring the mind into that space. Or endeavor to. And that starts with the hard work of asking your mind to cooperate for just a short period of time, and then have fun later. And even this it can turn into fun, but it's not so fun if you're asking your mind to cooperate and it's not, what's the word? It's not behaving. You want your mind to do some things, and before you even realized it, 4 minutes went by and you were thinking about some project, that you've been working on or want to work on. Okay, cool, fine, no problem. As soon as you notice, bring the mind back. That simple and not very sexy process is what starts to concentrate the chi in the central channel. And soon enough, and that's why Kundalini Yoga is so helpful, because that process on its own takes a long time and is kind of a difficult road. But if you use these exercises and these meditations and these practices, then all of a sudden it can transport you into the space where it's no problem at all. Mind is not rebelling at all. At first it does, though, and usually you have to kind of pass through some threshold of feeling perturbed, of feeling resistance. And then the more and more one becomes familiar with that process of the subconscious is always resisting that which is going to purify it. And as soon as we become more and more familiar, then I don't mistake it for this is horrible. I don't like this. Instead, my mind will be able to be familiar and see it for what it is, can easily move through that, because on the other side of it, I'm going to actually feel amazing. And it's often the case when we're having a hard time or a rough day, it's the last thing we want to do. Is sit down and do yoga practice. Fuck that. But if we did it, it would work. It would work in the sense of it won't take away necessarily the outer problems that are happening, but it totally transforms the perspective on those problems and the weight that they are having and the way they are impacting our emotional body and our nervous system and so forth and so on. So in other words, somehow you got yourself into this place where the chi centralized itself, and all of a sudden the thing that was totally flipping me out and causing me to do whatever each of us do. Some of us get really anxious. Some of us will get what you call avoidant. These are all the moon, when the moon is not feeling safe at all. Things are upheaval, change, transformation, perturbation. But perturbation is the very thing that causes vitality. So that deeper type of vitality happens on the more subtle levels of that inner process of the emotional body and the mind, when you're having those types of inner processes that nobody else knows about but ourselves, deep inside of ourselves. And you don't actually push them away, but you work with them. And work with them is simple in concept. Is all I got to do is, if I feel lousy, I need to feel lousy. I need to actually feel lousy. I need to feel lousy. Feel it. Feel what is its energy, what is its emotion. But not to indulge it, but to feel it, to observe it, to experience it. And then by doing that, and you put that in combination with these certain types of yoga practice, which are very effective and practical in terms of just transformation from taking the element and it's in its more difficult, non-desirable expression. Earth and water will create heavy depression. Air and ether will create anxious, fear, insecurity. Fire will create envy, jealousy, all of that, rage, anger. But those same elements, when they express themselves in their slightly more subtle and desirable expression, earth and water will create sweetness. Earth and water will give you steadiness. Earth and water will give you a type of grounded blissfulness. Air and ether will give you great intuition, will give you a sense of, because ether and air, space, ether is space, and air is movement. So when those two elements get out of balance, it causes all the things that have to do with excess movement. The mind, and with excess movement, is creating insecurity, and it's creating anxiety and fear and overwhelm. And so when those things have a container to work within, then all of a sudden, instead of the same very energy that was giving me total anxiousness, becomes something different. It becomes a power. It becomes more of what I experience like is a prayerfulness. And I don't mean that in a religious sense, but it's a way that we feel connected into the circumstances of life, and we recognize and can feel and experience our ability to communicate with life. Because whatever my mind is putting out and putting out and putting out on a cyclical basis, because that's how we do it, we are perpetual organisms. Our mind is always in a rhythm. And so little by little, if I'm taking those rhythmic patterns that are causing me miserableness, and I'm slowly transforming them to ones that are giving more creativity and more love and more joy, I'm getting blissful. But going through the difficult process at first is the hard part. But once it gets going, it's not hard, actually. It's a joyful way of living. And you get happier, and you get happier. That's the idea. It's not this like, I need to do all these self-improvements. No, it's actually, I'm very satisfied with how I am right now in a basic way. And yet, inside of that, I know about all of these. I know that there is this whole inner drama that is taking place, and inner narratives that are taking place. The potential that is there when it transforms is unimaginable to me as it continues. So that's the simple idea. Okay? So that's why, with all that being said, that's a little bit why, and we're going to move right into these kriyas here. That's why at some times inside of these exercises, it can create a type of pressure and a difficulty that almost seems like no way I can continue this. It can create a pressure. At any point you want to relax, feel free to relax. However, if as that kind of difficulty and pressure is going through, if you can try to, instead of focusing on the body part, focus on the breath part, see if it can take you through it. The hands are up like so, like this. And the mouth will be in an O shape, okay? And when you inhale through the O-shaped mouth, and then when you exhale through the O-shaped mouth, be like, with every exhale, the lifting of the diaphragm. So like this. When you come up like this, your left hand will be on top of the right. And when you come down, the palms are facing up. So the eyes are closed. Like that. Yeah, perfect. O-shaped mouth. This Kriya is encouraging the subtle energy, the chi, the prana, to circulate up from your lower triangle, from like below your diaphragm. Below your diaphragm is the domain of the subconscious mind. And so with every exhale, so lift the diaphragm. Getting there. Because we live in a gravity well and everything is tending to move downward, unless we kind of apply a type of pressure to encourage the subtle chi to circulate upward. Sometimes that happens naturally because you're having a moment of inspiration, like you're in a flow of creativity, that chi goes up. And that's the beauty and the value of the arts. At first maybe you don't feel creative, and you're just like, you're going through your, whatever it is, your scales, you're messing with it, you're trying to discover something, and all of a sudden a flow of creativity comes. Inspiration hits. What Kundalini Yoga is doing is kind of opening up that flow of creativity, but not only limited to our endeavors within kind of artistic channels or career channels, but in how we're essentially experiencing and connecting into our life. There it is. This Kriya is called clarifying the subtle body. Deeper the breathing. It's very difficult at this point. Feels like maybe even feels impossible. Just TRY. Try. Put your emphasis on the breath. Even if you can't do the physical part, can you continue with the breath? If you can't continue with the breath, can you continue to follow the breath with your mind? That's perfect. At a certain point, it opens up. And it's no longer difficult. And that brings the light out in the eyes. It brings the light out in the presence. And you get that new type of vitality. It's tapping a reservoir of inner energy that most folks seldom tap. Third eye goes the gaze, final moments. Eyes are closed, and draw your inner gaze where the root of your nose meets your skull bone. Almost there. Okay, inhale, interlace the hands above your head, stretch up, stretch up, stretch up, hold the posture through your mouth like a cannon, exhale, inhale, stretch up, stretch the spine, stretch around, to the center, exhale, now your deepest inhalation, stretch up, 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 up. Exhale. Relax it. Good. Come on your backs for a moment. But it's not Shavasana, we're about to work. So relax for a moment, but, you know, maybe leave the blanket aside. Now bring your legs together and arms by the side. To start, palms facing down, arms by the side. And take a deep inhale, and then fully exhale. And then inhale. And as you're there, it's a light rhythmic breath that goes like this. Like and inhale. And fully exhale. And then again inhale. And then just lying there, go. Now inhale. Fully exhale. Put your hands underneath your butt. Put your hands underneath your butt. Inhale. Fully exhale. Then you inhale, bring your legs and head up to 6 to 12 inches. Point the toes, inhale deep. And then eyes on your toes. Now inhale deep, hold the posture. Draw your navel and abdomen under your belly button. Pull it in, relax. Yeah. Now hug your knees to your chest. Bring your head up towards your knees. Inhale. Then exhale. Now you're going to come right back in that posture. Hands by the side. Inhale back into that posture. Deep inhale. Hands by the side like Charlotte. And then if it's still straining your low back, hands underneath your butt again. And go. Inhale deep, hold the position. Rectum, sex organ, navel up and in, navel in, deep, deep, deep. And relax. Yeah? So Moon and Scorpio, meet the intensity. If it's feeling intense, instead of shying away, meet it. Take a deep inhale. Fully exhale. Hug the knees back up into the chest. Fully inhale. Exhale. Come one last time into the position. Stretch pose. Now hit it. The navel point is the vital point of the organism. All the Shakti gets activated there. Hit it. Maybe don't allow the mind to freak out. It's difficult. Allow it to be difficult. Then the rhythm, go. Inhale deeper and relax. Bravo, relax. Hug the knees to the chest and bring the nose up to the knees or towards the knees. And then release your shoulder blades down, otherwise you squeeze up, inhale up. And then put the navel in the rhythm. It resets the whole digestive agni, resets the nervous system, balancing the glandular system. Squeeze up tight, and then relax all the way down. That's very nice. Relax all the way down for a few moments. So where the moon is this evening is its nakshatra is ruled by Indra, called the king of the gods. Ruler of the heavens is his mythology. He throws the thunderbolt during storms. He is the companion of Vayu, the wind. He is might personified. He is also perpetually young-looking. He is the great and generous hero. As the ultimate warrior, he is both aggressive and willing to be of service, but he's not afraid to use force, if necessary, in order to prevail. His arrows are the thunderbolts, and his bow is the rainbow. Indra loves his pleasures. He gets intoxicated drinking soma, and he loves to dance. Hug the knees to the chest, and rock and roll on the spine, and come up. It's called Jesta. Its symbol is a talisman. So, it's also mystical, very mystical sign. Indra steals the soma from his father, the story, and goes out and to perform great deeds. He's a great lover with many sexual encounters. He's passionate and frequently committing adultery. He is. In fact, there's a famous story of him where he seduces the wife of this great sage named Gautama, and then they hang out, and she experiences the wonders of Indra's lovemaking, I'm sure. And of course, though, that was not a good idea, because then this great sage curses Indra, and he develops 1,000 vaginas all over his body, is what happens. And then I forget who he goes to, but he's told to do penance, like he has to do a sadhanas. And so he does a sadhana for practice, a meditation practice. I don't remember how long, a long time. In these stories, it's never an 11-day challenge. It's like in 1,000 years, 108 years of meditation, something like that. And the 1,000 vaginas turn into 1,000 eyes. And that's why Indra, you see him depicted as the 1,000-eyed, with 1,000 eyes all over his body. It's very cool mythologies. And here you go. Arms are up to 60 degrees. The fingers are tucked in. The thumbs are stretched out. And then you elongate through the arms, shoulder blades release, heart open wide, inhale. Then with the rhythm. Remember how we were doing that? Dwell on the breath. It should be a little easier now, maybe. See if you can get in the breath rhythm. Exhalation and inhalation of equal strength. And this is only 3 minutes max. But in that 3 minutes, it takes you through that perturbed threshold. And if you can stay in the rhythm and you can keep drawing your gaze back to the third eye point, you will experience why they call it the aura charge. You will experience what they mean when they say that it strengthens and brightens the magnetic field. It's experiential. It's not philosophy. Really looking good. Keep going. Now see if as you continue you could visualize a beautiful like arc of light connecting your two thumbs. And the deeper your kind of concentration, the more brilliant it becomes. Concentrate on the breath. And if you can see and visualize or feel that arc of light connecting your two thumbs. And then see if you can imagine your whole spinal column like a beaming pillar of luminosity, emanating its energy in every direction. Like a great force, like the force, with the force of Indra, like with the force of a thunderbolt, like Gandalf, see if you can feel that and do that with your energy. Fortify your domain. Strengthen your resolve. Inhale. Thumb tips coming together. Stretch up. Fingers wide open. Fingers wide open. Fingers wide open. Stretch up. And release. Exhale. Final part of here, then you'll lay down. Index finger to your thumb, palms facing forward, like this. Now you'll be chanting this mantra, Hud, Hud. Chant the mantra, Hud, H. The navel comes in, and your tongue strikes the upper palate. Like, Hud, 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 Hud. It's to bring out the inner energy, but it's using the sound. Hud, like a martial artist does that. They call it a kia. Hud, Hud. But it doesn't have to be volume loud because you're using it with your chi. Hud, 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 Hud. And every time you chant it, your tongue strikes the upper palate. Take whatever you wish for in your life, in this season of your life, and you chant it. It's called vibrational communication. Hud, Hud, Hud. And as you start to kind of clarify that which you're wishing to bring it into your life, then you put your concentration on the mantra and you chant it. You focus your awareness on the tip of your tongue, striking your upper palate with every repetition of the mantra. Hud, 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 Hud. That stimulates the pituitary, hypothalamus. And then when the mind begins to protest, encourage it back to the mantra, oh my mind. Just chant the mantra. Feel the tip of the tongue touching the upper palate. It stimulates it. It's subtle and it's sensual. Even erotic. Give it a chance. Continue, final moments. Visualize your hands surrounded in an emerald green light, like an emerald green luminosity, Jnana Mudra. Continue and visualize your hands in an emerald green luminosity as you chant it. And somehow even the chanting is making that emerald luminosity kind of brighter, stimulating it somehow. Things are looking up. Keep chanting. Use the navel point, use the tip of the tongue, communicate, move the energy. If praying is asking for something, then the chanting is commanding something. You know? Command it. Chant. Inhale. Suspend the breath. Visualize your hands in like an emerald green luminosity as you keep the breath in. And then exhale, hold the position. And then inhale. Suspend the breath and visualize your hands surrounded in that emerald green. Exhale. Inhale. And then relax. And relax all the way down to your backs. Relax. Relax, relax, relax. Move the fingers and rotate the wrists. Move the toes, rotate the ankles. Okay, please rub the palms together, make a little friction. Rub the soles of the feet, make a little friction. Okay. Cat stretch to each side. Hug the knees to the chest. Rock a couple times. And just last part, come into meditative position. And your index fingers touch like this, and your thumb tips touch like this. And the other three fingers kind of curl in like guardians. And you hold it right at the center of your chest in front of you. And the basic idea for just these few minutes is try not to move. Your heart is lifted, your shoulder blades release, chest lifted, sit bones connected down. Eyes closed. It's lifted, but the regal, but it's also soft and relaxed. You know, queenly, kingly. Hold that beautiful mudra of the pranic mudra for the heart center, the upward facing triangle, drawing the chi up into your great heart, into the great heart. And then through your nose, you begin to just breathe nice and deep and slow. And you create a long, slow, controlled, meditative breathing. The secret is to finish every exhalation. Push all the exhale out. Before you allow the inhale in. And that will give you a long, deep yogic breath. And it's as simple as the more still you can hold the body, and the more the mind can dwell on the pranic current, what they call the pavan guru. The wisdom force that travels via your very breath, your magnetism. And you sit there like that, and then you go into the bliss, meditating on the breath. eyes relaxed in the third eye space. The body steady. The last 2 minutes. Go into it. That mudra works very intensely on opening the heart chakra as the blossoming rose. It's infinitely, forever blossoming. Vigas, bliss, the bliss that continues to blossom. As you continue, you can just kind of feel the wishes of the heart, the desires of the heart. And then just through that mudra is sending out the wishes of the heart. Into the vibrational field. Then what you do is interlace your hands behind your head, elbows back, O-shaped mouth. For 30 seconds. Seconds. exhale. Inhale. Squeeze the spine. Whistle the exhale. Inhale. Squeeze the spine. Whistle the exhale. And relax. Take your hands just like a cat scratching a little bit. And take your hands into the purples. And then you seal it by all those wishes, all that. Just let it all go. And instead you bring your awareness and your heart and you think of those you love, and you give a good wish for them. And you think of those who are suffering, and you give a wish for them. Yeah. And then maybe even we can feel the whole, as far as living beings go, and giving a wish, a happiness for them. Satnam. All right, well done, everyone. That simple thing is how they say you seal the practice. Like Kundalini is always like long time sunshine, but I'm not turning this song off to turn on long time sunshine. But what the idea is, when you give that wish for others, the compassionate heart, not only is that obvious why we want to do that, but said in the context of the practice to seal, to protect all the benefits from future bursts of angers we might have and things like that. Thank you, everybody. Satnam. Tomorrow morning, we start tomorrow is day one of LFA's Prosperity Challenge, 11-day. And we have people all over the world doing it, and we're going to kick it off with a live broadcast tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. and be right here in the Academy. And lots of love to everyone. Thanks so much. Sorry for the little bit of hiccups at the beginning. Thank you, Dom, for holding it down. And thanks, everybody. Satnam. Have a great evening. But you're wired somehow. You have a certain way of existing that is absolutely natural and skillful for you. You're talented in that way. It's how your heart expresses itself.